Hey, what is up everybody, Blaze4 here, and today I have for you guys another video of Persona 5X. Now inside this video guys, we have a lot of things to go over, and that's going to be immediately talking about the actual balance changes that are coming to the game. Yes, I know, balance changes again. Now this is something that we thought was only going to be kind of like a 1 or 2 time thing, because this has happened in the past where of course they've decided to buff certain characters and make them a little bit better. There hasn't been any nerfs for characters or anything like that. There's only been consistent buffing, in which most gachas don't really do this, and it's not anything bad. It's actually really good when it does come down to at least utilizing what we do have and seeing that the characters themselves will be fairly useful even in the future as they get power crept. Well, once again, after the 3.0.1 stream here, we actually ended up getting news that they're going to be updating a lot of characters and buffing these said characters. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Discord. Now currently I am looking into the patch notes little section. If you guys are inside the worldwide Discord, be sure to go ahead and take a look at that here, because they have posted everything and everything's slowly getting translated, and I'm going to be making videos of a lot of things here, including a lot of speculation videos, informative videos. So if you like things like that, be sure to sit back, relax, and also hit that subscribe button. That like button helps me out a lot. But when it comes down to at least the 5 stars here, we actually have a lot of balance adjustments, which someone had said, is this a fighting game? Which was pretty hilarious to say, because you don't really see updates like this too often, especially when it comes down to gachas. So 5 stars have a bunch of people that are getting at least the total reworks for the most part. There's 8 5 stars that are going to be getting reworked, and starting off with Panther. Panther herself apparently is getting some skill changes, as well as increases or improvements of her offensive abilities, which is pretty darn interesting, because first of all, she was one of the base characters. She was not really good at the very beginning and eventually did get a buff, but now she is getting another buff here that's going to actually come with a skill change, which is fairly interesting, because instead of them actually kind of changing certain small things, they are fully changing a whole skill and actually improving her offensive capabilities. This is really interesting as well, because it kind of comes down to the factor of, are they going to make new regular Phantom Thieves like variants, or are they not? And I still feel like they will end up making them, because hey, a bag's a bag at the end of the day. But while not forgetting about the old guys, which is really good to see, seeing that it kind of helps out some of the new players who end up starting, and they'll have a better start as the game go on. That can really help them progress in the story. With this in mind here, they also have helped out Joker's awarenesses, being his A6 getting changed. So his A6 is actually going to be very much so improved, which is going to be fairly interesting here, seeing that Joker already, after his buffing, it was already broken for the most part. Now he's going to be even more busted than usual, which is something I'm really happy about, seeing I actually have the character fully maxed. This is going to be really interesting for me as well. Now, one of the most needed balance adjustments or balance changes here comes down to Smoko. Many of us do know when Smoko first dropped, and even when she's coming back, she's just not a really good supporter on paper. When it comes down to at least healing, at least as well, it's not really a good use of her, to be honest. She didn't have the best healing capabilities, especially without her 5-star weapon. Her movement or like her awarenesses weren't really too good, other than I guess A1 and A6. A1 made it so you can actually AoE heal, and then A6 was just her being absolutely insane. She's going to have some awareness changes, of course, improving in her survivability and buffing abilities. This is really good, because she actually really needed some help when it did come down to, at least in survivability wise. She felt like she was paper thin, and which was really bad when it did come down to actually her needing to be surviving in order to get the buffs that she needed to offer. So that's really good to see. Ryuji himself is also getting a much needed buff, which is really good, because Ryuji himself is one of the few characters that I never use but I have maxed out. He himself is getting some skill changes, an awareness change, 5-star weapon change, some survivability changes, and offensive changes, which is really good, seeing this character truly does need a little bit more usage. Then Yui. Yui is getting a passive change, some skill changes, a 5-star weapon change, an awareness change, a follow-up chance increase, and improve of supporting ability. If you guys have been around here for a long time, Yui has been out for quite some time, ever since pretty much the beginning of the game. I think she was the second character that we got that was a good 5-star as well. That was a summonable 5-star. And this character, although she did pump out some high numbers, there were moments where she just would not crit. There were moments where she wouldn't follow up. There were moments where a lot of her things seemed a little bit lackluster. Well, good enough for us. We're actually going to get this point where she's getting a full overhaul. She's getting a huge buff here. And this is going to most likely make Yui very top tier once again, seeing that the game is going to be actually going ahead and focusing on newer updates. This is really good for her. Now Rin, the girl herself here, one of the best debuffers, or at least used to be somewhat a best debuffer in the game here, is getting some improvements as well. She's getting some skill changes, an awareness change as well, weapon changes, improved in controlment, improved in assisting, and then also improved in offensive. So this debuffer is actually going to be dealing some nice things as well when it does come down to this, which I'm really interested in. And then for the last two, we have Mona and Riddle, which Mona himself is getting some skill changes, awareness changes, improved in battle cycles, meaning it's going to be easier to do certain things, and improvement in his revive ability. A lot of us, when we were using Mona, weren't really using him for a lot of his heals. We were generally using him for that revive ability. So finally, they're going to be actually buffing that up, as well as changing a lot of his awarenesses that can make him a little bit more useful in the current release changes that we're getting in the game, which is really good. As for Riddle, she's getting a skill change, awareness change, a 5-star weapon change, and improving in buffing the abilities, meaning she's going to be way more helpful for EHR most likely and attack abilities themselves, making her probably a really useful supporter once again, instead of being left behind in the dust. I really do like that they're doing these type of things, because it's going to make a lot of things really fun in the future. But now that we've went over at least the 5 stars, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the 4 stars. Now, the 4 stars that we do have, there are in total, I want to say every last one of them, but I think there's in total 8 here, or at least 7 that are here, making a huge amount of like 15 buffs that we're getting in total, and it's huge. So Moko, she's getting skill changes, awareness changes, EHR assistance, and buffing abilities. This is really good because Moko herself is absolutely dog water. She's one of the few characters that in this game, even as a 4-star, you never want to use. You just don't. All the other 4 stars have some usage. She genuinely had 0 usage. There was no reason getting this character up, and it's about time that she really got something that was needed to be going over. The next thing here is going to be Florette. Florette is the other winded character who is our 4-star DPS wind here. He's getting a skill change, an awareness change, some 5-star weapon changes, and improve in offensive capabilities. The next thing we're going to look at is Ogyeon. She is getting herself a passive change, a skill change, an awareness change, some improvements in her EHR buffs, which is really huge, especially seeing how she's going to be used in either Mesa's team, and sometimes if you don't have the characters needed for Haru's team, you can definitely use her there. She's going to be having that as well, and then some improvements in her offensive abilities. Now, Leon's changes is kind of interesting here because improving his own offense is still kind of one of those things that we don't really know why they did that, but he's going to be improving that as well as some skill changes. Something a little light on Leon. He didn't really need too much of any changes here. For Mont, we are getting a skill change, awareness change, optimized battlefield, which I don't even know what that means, but what I'm thinking is at least making her a little bit better overall and balancing for at least her battle type moves here. Because if we're thinking about Mont, she didn't really have too much usage, especially when it did come down to at least her damage. It was really lackluster. A lot of her things weren't really proccing. A lot of things weren't feeling like they needed to be felt for an actual good character. So seeing that they might be reworking her as a total, it's going to be really good as well. Now, Closer is getting an awareness change, 5-star weapon change here, including improving electric assist ability, which is going to be nice. Yuki's getting some skill changes, improves team survivability, which if I'm being honest, we did not need that, but she's freaking getting buffs. So meaning Yusuke teams are going to be eating pretty darn good. And then for our last two, of course, both are fire characters, being Key. He's getting a skill change, awareness change, 5-star weapon changes, buffed in damage, which is really freaking good. This is going to be from a token, which is going to help out his skill too. And then for Cattle, he is getting some skill changes, awareness changes, a 5-star weapon change, healing debuff mechanic, which is interesting because he never had that. So that's going to be something that's going to be added on him, and he's going to be the only character with this. So that's really nice to actually see. And then an improved healing ability. So that's going to be really nice as well. And we're going to have a whole different revamp when it does come down to technical damage. So technicals will actually be useful in this game, in which a lot of us don't use them, but now they will actually be useful. But all in all, this was a mouthful. This was a lot of stuff, and I'm really excited to see exactly where they go with this. This pretty much just made me really happy with this because it shows that the dev team really does care about their game. They want this game to sustain itself for quite a long time and want to make it so that no matter who you are, if you do love the game, if you don't like the game, if you're just a person who's kind of stopping by, you will have your place in this game. There will be something for you to do. There will be a character that you will love, and there will be someone that you can generally just pretty much just use the character, jump in and have your fun. No real characters getting left behind, which I find that as a really good plus, because for a lot of people, there's people who want to play with cattle. There's people like me who want to play with Key and different things like that. It's allowing you to really enjoy that character and not feeling that they will never be useless, or at least useful, and you can't use them anywhere, which I really like that because it's giving that freeness that Persona has always gave you, where all party members are going to be very much so useful. But you guys let me know down below in the comment section how you feel about these balance changes. Are you happy with them? Are there certain ones that you wish there was a little bit more that got added, and things of that nature? But without further ado, you guys, hope you guys enjoyed it, and peace out.